This is a story about an island in the middle of the ocean, a place no one was ever meant to set foot on. This was a cruise across the remote South Pacific, but not just any cruise. This was an exclusive voyage to a place not found on any map. The ship was called the Beretta, and it promised a 2-week expedition to uncharted islands. Over 30 passengers boarded, all drawn by the thrill of the unknown. No online reviews, no itinerary, just a whispered promise of something no one else had seen. Every day on board was a celebration. Laughter echoed across the deck, cocktails clinked beneath the sun. Taylor, a former soldier and survival expert, stood silently by the rail, eyes fixed on the sea. Olivia, chasing her dream of becoming a documentary filmmaker, never let go of her camera. We spent our days owning the pool, and Mark, a retired sailor, swapped sea stories with the captain, grinning like an old pirate. That night, the Beretta hosted a small but elegant gala dinner. Under a sky dripping with stars, people raised their glasses. Laughter floated into the warm night breeze. The sea, perfectly still. And the violin? It played like a whisper across the water. But peace never lasts. As the night deepened, something began to shift. A strange tension pulled at the horizon. Clouds rolled in, too fast. From below, a low vibration began to rise through the hull. Deep, inhuman, unsettling. The captain checked the radar. Nothing, only static. Then a voice from the deck, panic in it. Something's rising. Out there. Beyond the horizon, a monstrous wave twisted upward, but it wasn't just water. It was like the ocean was being lifted by something unseen, alive. Alarms screamed. Crew members rushed, shouting, "Get inside, move!" The engines died. The ship lurched. Screams, crashing glass, salt spray in the air. The sky cracked open with thunder. Rain fell like knives, straight down. No mercy. The Beretta started to sink. I remember the tilt, how my stomach dropped before I did. I screamed and dove into the blackness. Olivia held her camera to her chest. Mason grabbed anyone close, pulling them toward a lifeboat. But it was useless. That wave didn't care. That night, the ocean swallowed everything. When I came to, I was lying face down on wet sand. My chest ached, and the sound of the ocean was still in my ears. All around me were others, students like me, washed up on the shore. 10 of us in total. Somehow, we'd survived. One person was vomiting, another had passed out. Olivia was already checking if her camera had made it. Mason? He was counting heads, scanning the beach for anything useful. The sea was calm. Too calm. And a sky above us, clearer than I'd ever seen. Unreal. And then, we looked around. The island was breathtaking. White sand stretched along the coast, tropical trees shimmered green like something out of a dream, and deeper inland, the trees, they were massive. Taller than buildings, their leaves almost glowed like they were made of glass. If elves were real, Olivia said quietly, this is where they'd live. Hanako was with us too. She was quiet, a Japanese exchange student, only 19, but she noticed everything. We knew we had no food, no water, so we split into groups. There was no choice but to search the island. By the afternoon of day 3, Olivia and Mason had gone farther into the forest. When they came back, they looked shaken. They'd found claw marks on trees, deep ones, branches torn down, and the ground ripped open like something had been dragged or chased. But it wasn't just the markings, it was the sound. They said it started as a low rumble somewhere deep in the trees, not just loud, deep enough to feel in your chest. We all heard it, eventually. No one spoke. No one moved. Fear just settled on us like fog. "Did you hear that?" Hanako whispered. That night, none of us really slept. Food was almost gone. Water, too. So a few of us, me, Olivia, Mason, Hanako, and a couple others, went deeper into the island. It looked like something out of a fantasy novel. The trees were enormous. Light came through the leaves like stained glass. The air was sweet, almost fragrant, but somehow, all of it felt wrong. We built shelter near the roots. We looked for fruit, anything safe, anything to last one more day. By day 7, we'd adapted, sort of, but every night that sound came back. It started faint, far away, but now it was closer, too close. It was raining, thunder in the distance, and right in the middle of this beautiful, impossible island, we saw something that shouldn't exist. That's where the nightmare started. Me, Hajin, Olivia, Hanako, Mason, and the others. We had gone deeper than we should have, into the forest, thick with fog, and that's when we started seeing things. Marks on the ground, deep scratches like something had torn through the dirt, branches bent, twisted, like they'd been scraped by something heavy. But what really got us was the silence. It wasn't peaceful. It was wrong. Still. Like the whole forest was holding its breath. Olivia crouched down and said quietly, "These are footprints, right?" Hanako didn't even speak. She just nodded, and we all felt it. That presence. Something out there, watching us, tracking us. Then, between the trees, something moved, low, quick, just a blur. We didn't see what it was. But in that moment it didn't matter, because every part of me knew that thing wasn't just passing through. It knew we were there. We stood frozen. No one said a word. And then, from the corner of my eye, something huge slipped between the branches. Quiet, but massive. Hanako didn't move. Olivia pulled her back, almost on instinct. Later, Hajin said he saw it. A shape. Something crawling between the soaked trees. Its body, rough like bark, but glistening, with too many legs. And the worst part? It wasn't ignoring us. It was looking right at us. We ran, didn't even think, just moved. Branches whipped past, the rain kept coming. No sun, no way back. Eventually we stumbled into this hollow space. Sunken ground, water everywhere. In the center, an open circle, like something lived there, or still did. It looked like a shrine, old, strange, almost sacred. Olivia stepped forward, staring at the markings. "I can't read this," she whispered. "I've never seen anything like it." We knew we had to leave. Problem was, we couldn't. The forest behind us had vanished into fog. Every tree looked the same. And then, that sound came again. Only this time, closer. Hanako started crying. And Mason, he just pointed. His hand was shaking. "Guys, look." Up in the trees. At first, it looked like part of the branches. But then it moved. We saw it. Its face was sharp, like a mantis, eyes like a predator, and its body huge, slimy, like a slug covered in moss. It just clung to the tree, watching, not blinking, like it was waiting. And we all stood there, so still, because somehow we knew it saw us first. The silence shattered the moment that thing dropped from the tree. It wasn't just a shadow anymore. It launched itself right at us, fast, violent, real. Before anyone even had the chance to scream, there was blood splattered between the roots. Olivia screamed. Hanako collapsed to the ground. Hodgin grabbed her and ran. Mason reached for the nearest student and pulled them with him. The forest floor was shaking. Something massive was chasing us. And we knew this wasn't just one creature. They were all around us. In the trees, under the ground, in the water. The island had opened up, and it was swallowing us whole. One student tripped on a root and got dragged away. Another stabbed by something that dropped from the sky. The more we ran, the darker it got. The light vanished. The warmth disappeared. This place that once looked like paradise was starting to feel like a trap. The deeper we went, the heavier the air became. Even breathing felt wrong. "We have to keep moving," Hodgin shouted, his voice shaking, almost a cry. Then Olivia stopped, dead in her tracks. In front of her, another one. Not the same as before. This one had torn, dried-up wings, bones spiked from its back like jagged stone, and its eyes burning red. It just stood there, staring, not moving. Then it lunged. Mason threw himself forward, pushed Olivia out of the way, and the creature sank its teeth into his arm. There was a scream, a rip, and then blood. Too much blood. We couldn't help him. We couldn't help anyone. We just ran. The island wasn't what it was. It had changed. And we realized this wasn't coincidence. This was a hunt, and we were the prey. The ground beneath us felt sticky. The trees were twisting into shapes that looked like hands. Between the roots, eggs, spikes, pulsing flesh. I don't know when it started, but we were running through a place filled with screams and the sound of wings. So many wings. Olivia screamed again. We turned, just in time to see one of the students pulled into the air by a creature with a wolf's head and a moth's wings. It vanished into the sky. And he never came back. We didn't know where we were going. We just kept running. The plants weren't green anymore. They were dark, black-purple. Bones littered the ground. Tree trunks had deep scratches, bite marks. "Don't go further in," Hanako shouted. But we couldn't stop. There was no turning back. Then we heard it. Two massive shapes, slamming into each other up ahead. Monsters. Fighting. Claws, teeth, roars. And right in the middle of it all, us, their prey. "Hide," Hodgin screamed. We scattered, tucked behind trees, roots, whatever we could find. The creatures tore into each other, blood spraying, screeches cutting through the air. And in that moment, we knew. The deeper we went, the smarter they got, the stronger, the stranger. This wasn't just a place. It was something alive, and it wanted us. The attack didn't stop. The monsters came from every direction. Claws, teeth, wings, screams. They tore through us like we weren't even human. There was nowhere left to hide, no path to run. Olivia was screaming, but it was swallowed by the chaos. One of the students was ripped apart right in front of us. Two creatures tearing from both sides, and then nothing but blood. Hodgin was running, desperately trying to find whoever was left. But all he could hear was the sound of tearing flesh, snapping wings, grinding teeth. Hanako stumbled behind a tree, barely staying on her feet. Olivia sat there, holding her camera against her chest, crying, but with a face so empty, like she wasn't even there anymore. And then... thud. The ground shook. A deep, low sound, like the whole island had a heartbeat. Thud, thud. It wasn't just once, it kept coming. Every monster stopped, just froze. Some looked back, others backed away, like they felt it too. Something bigger, closer, something they feared. The few of us still breathing, we dropped low behind the trees, eyes fixed on the sky. And then it went dark. But it wasn't clouds, it was a shadow. Something enormous passing above the trees. Branches bent, the forest trembled. We couldn't see what it was, not really, but we saw its tail, massive, thick like a crocodile's, lined with jagged stone-like ridges. It moved slow, dragging across the treetops like it didn't care what it crushed. The earth shook, roots cracked, and even though we never saw its full body, we knew this was no creature. This was the one they answered to, the one they ran from, the true owner of this island. When the shadow finally passed, the forest didn't return to silence, not really. It just started waiting. Only 4 of us were left, barely alive. But we made it, or at least we thought we did. We were wrong. 1 year later, today, another one of us became food for the monsters. That thing. It looked like a mix between a mantis and a monkey. It started with his head, chewing. No time to scream, no time to run. The moment its eyes moved, it was already over. Just like that, we lost another friend. I don't know how long I've been here. I barely remember what sunlight looks like. Even the ocean breeze, gone. We were never rescued. No one ever came. Hope? That's a luxury I don't have anymore. There's no food left, no fruit. The water's gone bad. The creatures come closer every night, and we've become too weak to fight back. So, I've decided to end this. There are 2 skeletons beside me, still white, still shaped like the friends I once knew. I ate them to stay alive on this island. And now I leave this behind. So if anyone ever finds this place, don't step foot here. Because this island, it isn't just home to monsters. Here, even humans can become one.